Deuce, looking at Saints and Falcons matchup, or just looking at our next two games, boy, you could see a Saints influence. Mike and I was talking about this. Okay, you look top 10 defense. That's when, you want to be top 10 in a number of categories. I'm looking at Atlanta. They have the 7th best defense right now. We're number 8, and Detroit's number 9. That's all a Saints influence. Look at Aaron Glenn with the Lions. Look at Ryan Nielsen with the Falcons. And now, we all know the Saints with Dennis Allen. There's a big Saints influence. And right now in the NFL, Atlanta and Detroit. Now everyone's on Detroit bandwagon because they have a complete team. But, all three of those teams, they're not top 5, but they're on the back end of top 10.
Yeah, I think, you talk about the influence of Sean Payton, Dennis Allen, and the Saints organization, because not only from a player standpoint, but coaches as well as, you talk about GM and scouts, et cetera, over in Atlanta. I think that bodes well. I think that speaks well, and I think that, from New Orleans' standpoint, they're pleased and proud. I know the organization as well as the team would love to be able to keep all of that talent in-house, but at the same time, you have to be pleased and proud when some of that talent that you've been able to grow has this chance to move up the ladder and be able to be successful. And that's exactly what some of those coaches, players, as well as other executive members has had the chance to do.
Deuce, always look at, offense, defense, special teams, and I say, well, we better win in this area because we always talk about field position, hidden yardage. I didn't realize this. It's hard to do in a negative way. Atlanta's dead last at kickoff return and punt return. And we can cover the punt returner. They're averaging 5.3, and then we got Rashid Shaheed, number 3 in the league, at 15 yards. So that's like one less first down maybe you got to get, hitting yardage. And kickoffs, you can kick it out the end zone, but they only average 16.5 yards a kick return. We're at 21.5. But I look at that punt return and those hidden yardage and field position, and Rashid Shaheed, that could be the difference. Whether in position, now Groupie got to make the kick, or Koo's now dealing with a back injury, and that'll be interesting. But, that one less first down you got to make to get in scoring range and that hidden yardage, that could be big in the outcome of the game.
A huge in the outcome of the game, and I think anytime that you, Bobby, when you can lessen the amount of yardage that an offense has to go, then I think that changes not only from mental standpoint, but how I call the game. And so
right.
If I'm always at plus 35 or plus 40, then I'm never backed up. And so there's certain plays that I may never even call coming out. And I can probably be a little bit more aggressive because I know if I can get 2 first downs, 3 first downs, now you're friends to, comfortable with my kicker being able to kick field goals. It's never a good situation where your every kick for a kicker is plus 50, or plus 45. And your offense isn't getting even into the red zone. That's never a good situation, and it's always putting a lot of stress on your defense because they see it.
Yeah.
You want it to be complimentary football, but that defense sees it that my offense can't score. Now we can't afford to give up a trick play, a big play, or even maybe 1 or 2 first downs.
Deuce, I think you might have the record. What was that one game you had against Atlanta? Was it 178 or 182 yards? Rushing, what was that? It was either 178 or 182.
That was an overtime game.
Yeah. Well, all I know is, boy, if Alvin Kamara can have that, if we get Derek Carr, shame on him if you don't have success, if we can run the ball that well. But I'm looking at Alvin Kamara, and he's had success against Atlanta. I'm looking at it. He has 606 scrimmage yards, so 101 per game, and a rushing touchdown in 6 career games against the Falcons. So hopefully that works in his favor again, along with Taysom Hill. Now, we don't want Taysom to protect the football. And the last road meeting, Taysom Hill, you look on the road, he had 81 rushing yards, had that rushing touchdown the last time on the road. And so I know the Falcons are aware of Taysom Hill. And, Deuce, the question I have for you, right now with Pete Carmichael, Sneaky Pete, I don't know how you come about in the ebbs and flow of the game, how it's going to come out. But don't you at least give the ball that Taysom has 7 rushing attempts, considering we're 17-1 when he has 7+ rushing attempts. It doesn't matter what he gains. 7+ rushing attempts versus against the Vikings. I know how the game turned out, but at the end, we had good field position. He didn't carry the ball, and he only had 1 carry against the Vikings.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is not allowing the game to get out of hand and then getting him some early touches. And I know at times it may slow you offensively on some of the things that you want to do, particularly if you go with his normal package as far as jumbo. But I'm interested, Bobby, to see how Atlanta try to stop Taysom.
Right.
You know, because some teams they have the beef inside where they can pinch inside and they can bring guys off of the edge. But I don't know if the Falcons can really hold up by doing that. And so I want to know how they counter the Taysom Hill package. I mean, because if the Saints are able to double inside and you get that kick out on the outside, man, he's one-on-one with linebackers. And like you've talked about, he's had success against that defense. And so Ryan Nielsen, he knows, and obviously Dennis Allen knows the weakness of that defense that Atlanta runs. But Taysom kind of gives you a different dimension from an offensive standpoint where this may be a game where Taysom, you're at quarterback for 20 to 25 plays, and it's not because, you know, Derek is hurt or you don't believe in Jameis. It's because you give me the best matchup, and they have trouble stopping your package.
Deuce, we saw a lot of Kyle Pitts at Florida. He wasn't a good player, and he wasn't a very good player. He was a dominating SEC tight end, and I think what you saw with Kyle at Florida, sort of Georgia, like ripped that page right out of the Florida playbook, say, man, you know what, we got a guy here in Brock Bowers that can do the same thing. But what's happened to Kyle in the NFL, where he's not been a feature guy? But if I've watched the Saints the last 2 weeks, last 2 games, okay, they've had trouble with Cole Kmet, had really a lot of trouble with T.J. Hawkinson.
Right.
Man, I'm pumping the football to Kyle Pitts. But what has sort of been the, I guess, kind of run off the road? Well, Kyle's been an okay player with the Falcons.
No, it's been kind of like Mike and Deuce, like Jawan Johnson this year. You know,
he's not been that dominant guy like we saw in college where, man, he was head and shoulders above everybody else.
Look where he got drafted. Injuries is okay.
And so even not the injuries, after the injuries, he doesn't look like he's 100% healthy.
No, he doesn't.
He runs with almost a hitch. While he runs in his gait, it's almost like a hitch. And even doing that, you know, sometimes whether it's the quarterback or the coordinator, whoever, he's not even the first option. He's like option number 3. And so it's just like, man, you know, this is a top 10 pick who has talent, and either he's hurt, so sit him down, or if you're going to play him, at least get him involved. And so I think the system has taken him away a little bit. And then the other part of it is the quarterback, you know, just entrusted him.
Right. And Deuce, you know, you bring that up. I did a couple of shows in Atlanta. Well, you want to talk about, you know, everybody bitches. Whether you're a Saints fan or a Falcons fan, they're all so discouraged because of the weapons and where they were drafted.
And Drake London.
You look at Bijan Robinson. And then, Mike, you look at Pitts. They're like, well, I don't know. We don't know how to utilize them. We don't get them the ball. Dudes, they are frustrated. Believe you me, we from the outside looking in, from the local perspective, no, that's what they're most frustrated about. Now, Desmond Ridder, I don't know. Deuce, I know he can run. And we've had problem with running quarterbacks, so I think they're giving him opportunity after the bye. I don't know. He played the Saints defense before. But all I know is last year he didn't even throw. I don't think he threw for 100 yards against the Saints at a lot of part of the season.
And he's been okay as a passer.
He's okay.
But it's been his fumbling. Okay, you can't turn the ball over.
Like
it's almost like a running back that he gets inside the 10, the ball's up.
A couple of times. No, that cost the Falcons. Yep.
Well, and the other thing is, I think, you know, a lot of young quarterbacks, it's trusting the window. And so if my guy isn't open from the college standpoint, then a lot of them won't throw it. And then when they do throw it, it's like, no, he's not open at all. You're forcing that throw, and instead of just reading the coverage and throwing a guy open or throwing it to a space. I don't know if he's consistently trusted, and that's been a lot of his issue. And then you talk about his ability to run. Well, the Saints are going to get tested. He is going to run. He is going to move in the pocket, and if the Saints can't tackle him, it's going to be a long day.